Okay, this is yet another bend in the Serpent's coil. You can see that it goes around to there. And what you're looking at here is where the equinox sunrise is believed to have actually touched with the coil. Once again, that may have been to predict appropriate planting times, because we were talking about a matter of life and death if you get it wrong. So they needed some way to be able to tell sun time and time of year. Practical way of doing it, making a giant effigy mound. And whenever you come here, you can figure out by looking there. You can't see very well. You can see the highlands over in there, but you can figure out what time of year it is and when the best time to plant would be. Okay, walking down here. Please keep off the earthworks. Squirrel. Avante. Okay, now we're looking once again here at yet another one of the coils. You can see it again, and there would be the minimum northern moonrise. Be right above that, and last frostate sunrise. As we said, very important to be able to tell when you're planting, to know what's going on in your environment, and it's probably what this effigy mound was for. Okay, we're looking now at the head of the Serpent, and we're coming around to it right here. When you see it on maps, this particular part, especially in the Squire and Davis interpretation of the site, it looks like two wings coming off of the Serpent, but when you actually see it in person, it doesn't look like that at all, and many people have begun to interpret this as a possibility of the flat head of the northern water snake, which was still is in some areas, a very common snake that you see along Brush Creek and other creeks all throughout Ohio, all the way up to Lake Erie. The unfortunate thing for the northern water snake is that, unfortunately, it appears it's very large. It can get up to 6 feet, and it can appear, in some appearance, to look like a cottonmouth, and people will kill them just because they're afraid of there being cottonmouths. Really, people shouldn't be killing any animal just because it could be dangerous. In fact, in my experience, it's been, and there could very well be timber rattlers in any of this area here, and copperheads. We are in southern Ohio, unglaciated Ohio. That's where you find them. It's been my experience that if you leave wild animals alone, they will leave you alone. So, words of the wise, if you see a snake, just leave it alone. Alright, now there is the summer solstice sunrise. And this is the outlook. You can see down there, that caldera is off in the distance. Highway is just over there. You can see Brush Creek, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted to come down here right now, because we can see Brush Creek right now, and you can see the valley below. Like I said, the greenery is slowly starting to encroach, so I wanted to be able to see this first. There are lots of wonderful trails down through here, and there's Brush Creek. It's a fairly deep creek, actually, and I believe it's got smallmouth, largemouth. I'm not sure about other fish. You can see that tree there. Let's see if I can focus in on it. You can see where the woodpeckers are doing a number on that one, right there. Let's see. You can tell it is a long way down. And as I said, the greenery is starting to, the verge is definitely coming up. There's the valley below. Let's see if I can get a good look. Yeah, okay. Now if you can see off there in the distance, I'll focus in a little bit. Here we go. That right around in there is the caldera from the impact 400 million years ago. Goes all the way around. We are actually sitting right in the middle of it. Whether or not the Hopewell understood that, I don't know. Or the Fort Ancient people, I should say, because we reinterpreted the site. Maybe. They certainly probably knew that there was something special about this place, and I remember reading a few articles and research that I've done on they're finding meteorite iron in some burials, and it may have come from some place like this. So certainly they may have had at least an idea that this place was unique, and 2,000-3,000 years ago it would have looked very different. We have all these deciduous trees, of course, that would have been the same. A lot of these fir trees wouldn't have been here, even though I think those would have been. At any rate, this all would have been tree covered, except for maybe the areas that they cleared around the mound. And this is the very head of the mound itself. We are looking out towards the other direction, towards the visitor center now. As I said, a very, very immense structure, needless to say. Alright, we're walking up the other side of the path now. We're going to be coming to the other side of the Serpent. It's right on our left. There's part of the valley. There's part of the other overlook. It's fairly... okay, here's where we're coming to now. Yeah, Max Southern Moon Set. You can see the coil that matches up to right there. And there that is. Everything would have been ideally set to see this kind of thing. There's the top of the Serpent over there. Fortunately, the rain has stopped, and I can even get all my equipment out now. It's no big deal. One or the other. Actually, you know what? I think I will... yeah, we're going to take a picture of this real quick. There we go. And yeah, people are looking at the trees right now because I'm taking a picture. Okay. Here we go again. And this coil here lines up with the equinox sunset. That would be going that direction. I probably should have made the little special notes there. So that's would have been where the equinox sunset would be. Makes sense. It matches up with what we found. Another picture. There we go. Oops. Didn't mean to hit the button that time. Alright, that'll be a lost picture. Alright, we're heading up. We are almost finished. And we will have pretty much the entire thing then. Alright, we're coming to another coil. And, smile! Yeah, looks good. Perfect. Alright. Back up the path. There we go. Minimum northern moon set. Right here. Alright, picture worth 1,000 words. And that would have been facing that direction. Lining up with this coil, as you can see here. I'm filming with two different kinds of media devices at the same time. Can't ever be accused of not being a multitasker. Back up. Inner coil. Disco. We're coming up to the tail where we started now. And it is right here. There we go. I'm snapping pictures as I go. There's the rest area. There's the visitor center. It's closed for the winter right now. They'll open up by probably about Labor Day. Anybody's planning a trip, that would be the time. Alright. What do we... There's Magnetic North, alright. So that gives you an idea of how the site's oriented, right there. That is magnetic north. So this way would be looking towards the northern exposure. Needless to say, that way would be south. Yet more pictures. Alright, coming to the other end of this thing. Now, why the tail sits on the northernmost part, it's hard to say. Whether that's significant, I don't know. It could be just a coincidence. It could just be how they laid this whole thing out. It could be that it had other significance. Perhaps north had special meaning to the Fort Ancient people, like the cardinal directions had special meaning to the Etruscans, with the most benevolent and worthy of gods being, there's an outlook over Brush Creek. You can see it down there. Let's pray to God I don't drop the camera, because there's no way I'm getting it back. There we go. Yeah, the Etruscans associated north and east with the most benevolent and good gods. South and west were associated with gods of death, gods of evil. So that may have something to do with it. Then again, I could be completely full of shit. Some of this is just a matter of interpretation, unfortunately. It's the nature of the beast. But when you have evidence like this, where you have these coils lining up with these things, it does give you some credence to what you're looking at. At the same time, though, and I want to make this very clear, you can go to any site and find some sort of astronomical alignment to line up with. That's one of the problems with this kind of thing. It's the same kind of interpretation that you hear people talk about ley lines and nexus points and things like this. As a matter of fact, Adams County and the Serpent Mound are considered to be on one of those nexus points and ley lines that supposedly exist. But the problem is that you can draw a line, a straight line from any point to any other point on the planet. Of course, accounting for curvature of the Earth. Regardless, these supposed lines, these ley lines that they talk about with supposed holy places, that's the kind of problem you face with this kind of interpretation, because you could literally find anything you were looking for. Now, in the case of the coils here, I think that's better evidence than just saying, oh yeah, by the way, this thing sits on a ley line just because I say so. That's not good evidence. But you say, hey, this sits like there, that coil there sits because of the winter solstice, and it lines up with it. That's different evidence. Or where they had the maximum moonrise right there. That's different evidence. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I think we are done for today. We were lucky that we even got to do this, considering we were dealing with thunder and lightning on the way down. One more last look. There she is, folks. The Serpent Mound of Adams County. Pretty damn impressive. Over and out.